Hi, my name is Cheryl Harmony Mandel. Harmony, and I can't sing, but I love to dance. This month I'm turning 60, and you start to think, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? If I was a painter, I could paint a picture, and if I was a writer, I could write a book, but what I can do is dance, and so that's what I decided I wanted to do, was to dance.
And a circle, and a circle, and a circle, and a circle. I call it a dance autobiography. So each dance corresponds to the various stages of my life.
I think I always danced. The earliest dance performance that I can remember is tap. I was a little teapot, and I wore this brown satin hoop. Here is my handle, and here is my spout. Tip me over and pour me out. And then I think there was a couple of years that I tried ballet. I did performance gymnastics. I did synchronized swimming. I didn't care what it was. I just loved to move. And if there was music, it was even better.
She's Venus in blue jeans, Mona Lisa with a ponytail. She's a walking, talking work of art. She's a girl who stole my heart. My Venus in blue jeans is a Cinderella I adore. She's my very
When I was a teenager, I used to go to the local Y, where they would have ballroom dance classes. I would just hang around, and they would call me in because there were always some guys who didn't have partners, some older men who didn't know how to dance, and they would step on my toes, and I didn't care as long as I was dancing. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha.
When I was in high school, I was pretty adventurous, and we used to go downtown, a bunch of young girls, and we used to dance, and it was just beginning, it was just starting, all the various dances of the 60s. I was good, and I had a girlfriend, and she was good, and at one point a band member said, "Be the go-go dancers for this performance." And so we gave ourselves a name. We were Debbie and Cher, the Manhattan Go-Go Girls. It was a nice development. We got ourselves costumes, we taught ourselves routines. I was chosen as a go-go dancer in a weekly television show.
What show? What show?
It was called It's Happening, and there were sort of 4 go-go dancers, and I was one of them. Yeah. I want to see the footage.
We had agents, and we would fly all over to perform. The summer of Expo 67, we performed in Expo. We flew to Labrador and danced there on an army base. We flew to Newfoundland, danced there in a mining town. It was a good summer.
It's unbelievable how much energy I had then. I managed to dance professionally and learn at university at the same time.
We were in university, and I was wild and colorful. I was wild and colorful. And one day there were a bunch of people sitting at a table in the cafeteria, and a friend of mine said, "You know, Cheryl, I'd like you to meet David. I think that the two of you will get along great." And I look at this guy, and he's wearing a white shirt buttoned up, and he's got this regular length hair, and he just looked so square. And I'm going like, "Don't think so." But that goes to show you, he was the one for me. Incredible to say, but that was 40 years ago. We're together 40 years.
Do the twist and it goes like this. Come on, let's twist again. Like my soul. Yeah, let's twist
ago, it was very interesting. So I would wear a wig, and I would wear contact lenses, and I would wear makeup. And so I would walk into a bar with my wig and my contact lenses and my makeup, and everybody's eyes would turn. And then the next night, I would go to the same bar without my wig, with my nice, short, cute little hair, and I would walk in and nobody would look twice at me. And I found that the whole superficiality of the culture was very, very upsetting to me. I found that I had a lot of conflict at being related to as an object, you know, as a dancer was an object. And then I met David. And I just found that he loved me for me. I mean, his values and who he was so anti to the society that I found myself in, and that was for me. In 1970, we graduated from university, both of us, David from medicine, me with an honors degree in sociology. We put our backpacks on our back and we got on a plane and we set off for an adventure. And didn't even stay for David's graduation from medicine. And now I think of it, how could we do it to his parents that we didn't even let him go to his medical graduation? And they accepted it. And we just got on a plane, went off, lived in London, drove through Holland, France, Italy, took a boat to Greece, and we were trying to decide whether we were going to go to Crete for the winter or whether we were going to come to Israel for the winter. So we said, okay, let's ask the gods. So we went out to Mount Olympus and we took a coin and we flipped it and we said, okay, heads, we go to Israel, tails, we go to Greece. So it turned out tails, we're going to Crete. So we looked at each other and said, we're going to Crete. We said, no, we want to go to Israel. We went to the kibbutz office in Tel Aviv and we said we want to go to the kibbutz, and David says we don't want to go any place where there's any danger. And they said, okay. And they sent us to Kibbutz Masada in the Jordan Valley, which is on the border with Yarden. And Syria is just right up there. We had a fabulous time on the kibbutz. We were there for the whole winter. I think that the decision to come to Israel maybe started there. When I was growing up in Canada, I'd grown up without role models, and on Kibbutz Masada I found some role models. And my role model was Sfania. Fania was a Romanian woman who had been on the kibbutz since its founding, and she spoke no English, and I spoke no Hebrew, and I also spoke no Romanian. But I used to work in the kibbutz kitchen helping her, and this is a story she told me that just made me go like, wow. When the kibbutz was founded, there was a lot of malaria, and there were a lot of mothers that weren't able to nurse their babies. And Sfania would get every day on a horse-drawn wagon, and they would take her from neighboring kibbutz to neighboring kibbutz to neighboring kibbutz, and she would wet nurse somebody else's baby. Why is this? Don't know why that made me emotional. But she would nurse babies that basically in that time was a difference of life and death. And I think that growing up in Canada, I had never, growing up secular in Canada, I had never been exposed to altruism, to doing something for somebody else, to doing something for the good of somebody else, to helping people. And I was just so taken by this woman who had basically saved all these babies' lives. And generally, I love the kibbutz. I really, I love the kibbutz. Then 1972, we came back to Toronto. David started his residency in psychiatry. 1975, I started to have children. Nicole, and then Jonah 2 years later, and then Daniel 19 months later. Our children were born at home. What we wanted to do is to have the birth the way we wanted to have it. And the other concern was that I was so much in love with my first child. I couldn't imagine leaving her. How could I possibly leave her?
Sway to the right, sway to the left. Sway, sway. We all know this position. Oh no! Was it you? No, it wasn't. Good baby. Okay.
We were into long-term breastfeeding. Daniel, Zichron Levracha, was nursed for 3 years, and Shlomo was nursed for 2 years, and all the other children were nursed until I became pregnant again.
We're turning 2, 3. Look at that beautiful baby.
Dancing is really about control over your body, being able to extend your hand and lift your neck and be able to have your hand do what you want it to do when you want it to do it. Whereas birth is about giving over control and having faith that everything's going to turn out. It's a letting go.
Put your head on my shoulder, hold me in your arms, baby. Just a kiss goodnight.
And box step. Box step. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Arms, head.
We came to Israel in 1983. We said, let's do something. We were a fairly adventurous couple, and here we were in this very middle-class life. We said, let's do something. Let's go to Australia for a year. Let's go to China for a year. Let's go to Israel for a year. Let's do something different. In the end, we were accepted to come with our 3 children to live on Kibbutz Masada in the Jordan Valley, the kibbutz where we had been volunteers in 1970. And we came to Kibbutz Masada. It was 90 degrees in the shade, and I was 6 months pregnant, and I just sort of fainted, which I never did before, I never did afterwards. Just, it was so hot. And our son, Gabriel Lior, was born on kibbutz. In the middle of our year in Israel, David started to feel that it wasn't the right place for him. He was starting to ride his bicycle to Kibbutz Afikim on Shabbat to go to synagogue with 10 old men from Kibbutz Afikim. And he was starting to get more and more into religion and also away from, there were a lot of things that bothered him about kibbutz. So we moved to Moshav Amirim, and we were living in a little rented house, and David was hiring himself out as somebody's assistant in the fields for 50 shekels a day. And I would say to him, I'll pay you 60 if you stay at home and help me. One week he came to the children and he said, kids, I have an idea. Let's do something wonderful this Shabbat. We won't turn on any lights, and we won't use any electricity, and we'll use candles. And I'm going like, and he's going, and it'll be so much fun, and we'll do candles, and we'll do this, and we'll do this. And I'm going, and he's going, and the kids went, yes, Abba. And that was our, that was the first Shabbat that we had. And since then, there were a lot of barriers along the way that I had to go through. We grew up so secular, up to the point that in my family, on Yom Kippur, I knew I couldn't go to school, but I didn't know why. I just knew that I would be embarrassed if I went to school. So David said, Naaseh v'nishma. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to believe it. Just do it. Just do it and the belief will come. And I go like, okay. So I'll buy new dresses. Okay. So I'll buy new dishes. Okay. So I'll buy new pots and pans. And you know, like it was one thing after another.
By the 90s, my entire life had changed. We became religious. We came on Aliyah. And we made our home right here in Alon Shvut. My go-go was gone.
My dance was put on hold when we came on Aliyah, but basically everything was put on hold. My style is very focused and intense, and what I wanted to do is just figure out where I was, figure out how to do it, figure out how to do it well, and there was just all the other stuff. There was no time for it. I had to learn how to write notes to the teacher. Jonah didn't come to school today because he was sick. That was the first thing I learned to write in Hebrew. Notes to the teacher. The dance came back in both ways. I started teaching dancercise classes here in the Yishuv, and I also started attending folk dance. I just have this wonderful teacher here. I love every kind of dancing, but I love my Israeli folk dancing.
That the personality of the dance comes through, and this is a Hasidic dance, and there's a lot of prayer, you know. So I want you to just express it. Okay, this is whenever Ruthie puts on this dance, she says Cheryl dance.
When we go to folk dance class, the young girls look at me and sometimes they twitter behind their hands. They dance just with their feet. And they don't dance with their whole self. And so they look at me and they laugh a little and then they imitate me. And because when I dance with all of me. In North America, foreign-born people always stayed immigrants. And I think to a certain extent that's true of us here, that we stay with our language, we stay with our culture. I had an interesting experience last night. We were having dinner with a Rav of my son's, and I was telling him about this project. And I said, well, I'd say something like, I love to dance and ballroom dance class, and then I would do the cha-cha-cha. And David says, he doesn't know what the cha-cha-cha is. I said, don't you know what the cha-cha-cha is? He says, no. I said, the twist? He said, no. I said, the monkey? The pony? The jive? He goes, no. So you realize how culture-bound we all are.
Who's that flying up there? Is it a bird? No!
The songs, I mean, you could just feel it in the air that when they would hear who put the bomb, everybody goes, yay! You know, they would hear the twist, yay! You know, you could just when I put on John Travolta and Staying Alive, everybody's going, yay! You know, you could just feel the excitement with the recognition of the songs. lived part of my life secular and part of my life religious. I'm not one of those people that will say, this is the only way to be in the world. I believe that there's many ways that one can be in the world, and that there's not only one way, only my way. You know, people want you to say that their way is the best. Nachon, it's better now that you're religious. It's great. It's great. Well, I wasn't unhappy when I wasn't religious. It was also pretty good. When Daniel was killed, our whole life changed. He was the middle child, and he was certainly the center of the family. His loss was a big loss for all of us. And I think one of the things that it did is renewed for me how precious my children are and how important they are to me, and that I don't feel I can take them for granted anymore. There's so many stories, and each story is more wonderful than the next about Daniel. He was just a great, fun-loving brother, son. It was just great. We miss him. And he was a child that I nursed for 3 years. That gives me a lot of comfort. And it was my special time with him. And after Daniel was killed, I started lighting a memorial candle on Friday nights. And that's my special time with him. And that's when I think of him. And I thought I would do it for 3 years because that's how long I nursed him. But I'm still doing it. I don't know how long I'll do it for.
Tragedy struck our family 5 years ago in April 2003. And for a while, the joy was gone, and I stopped dancing.
The first time I saw them do the modern dance section on about the loss of my son Daniel, I cried. I was very moved by it. And there were 9 parts to that dance. And what was important to me is that people recognized that, yes, a section of my life had tragedy in it, has tragedy in it, but that there's still life goes on, and that you choose if you're going to dance, you choose if you're going to smile, You choose if you go ahead. And these are conscious choices that every single one of us can make. And I'm happy with my choices. The tragedy dance ended up with the dancers coming around me in support, and then all my dancers coming out with their colorful shawls and supporting me. And this, for me, was a very important and meaningful part of the dance, because this is what I experienced. This is what I experienced here in Israel after the tragedy of our son being killed in the army. That I felt all of the Israeli people hug me. I just felt so supported, so loved, so encompassed.
Happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again. So let's sing a song of cheer again. Happy days are here again. All together, shout it now. There's no one who can doubt it now. So let's tell the world about it now. Happy day.
I really wanted to make this movie because when you dance and it's gone. Maybe I should have made this movie when I was 40. Maybe I should have made this movie when I was 20, when I really was a good dancer. But I'm glad that I'm making this movie now when I'm 60, that my children and my grandchildren can say, this was Cheryl Harmony, and she was a cool grandma.
אני מתכבדת להזמין את גבי רוזנפלד ושרול מנדל להניף את דגל מדינת ישראל לרגל יום הולדתם ה-60. שרול, עולה ותיקה מקנדה, דמות תוססת וצבעונית, שותפה פעילה לפיתוח האומנויות בגוש עציון.
The state of Israel and I are both the same age. And we've both been through a lot. And with your love and support, we're stronger for it. A dancer is who I am and who I always will be. I'm older and wiser, but I still love to dance.